All right, guys, what's going on? AJ here with Black Wolf Trucking, and I wanted to do this video to kind of give you guys a breakdown to show you what's going on. And I want to start it out with a question that I had got. Now, first of all, I noticed people, like I put my email on, one guy had asked me to put my email on, and because he wanted to ask me a question. Honestly, the best way if you want to ask me a question is going to be through Instagram. You see my Instagram is on my thumbnail and all that kind of stuff. That's gonna be the best way to contact me because I don't check my emails that often. But if it gets to a point, I may actually have to create an email specifically for the channel, just for questions and stuff like that. Because I mean, I could do a Patreon, but I'm not really into charging people to talk to me. Maybe one day in the future if it gets to a certain point, but even then, I think there's a free version of Patreon that you can create, but just for people that want to ask questions, I'm not trying to charge people anything. But if you do want to donate, go ahead and hit the Cash App or the Venmo if you want to. That's up to you. But anyway, so I got a question about basically Central Oregon and all that stuff. But what I want to do is I'm going to answer that question first, and then it's going to be a great segue into what this video is going to be about. So anyway, guys, let's jump into it. All right, guys, so I got this question, and I'm going to go ahead and... All right, so the question says, how's it going, man? I have the same goal that you have. I did my training at Melton Truck Lines, and I put in 8 to 9 months with them, left them on good terms, and had a pretty bad family emergency. Anyways, I've been thinking about going to COTC or Wiley. Your thoughts of those two companies from there after a year or two, I would really like to do an LP with the company. Goal is to be an owner operator. But the way I've already been approved to go to either companies, just need to make a decision. Your thoughts, since you've been to COTC, would be appreciated. I only know of one guy who left Melton to went to Central Oregon. He only had bad things to say about Central Oregon, but I don't really listen to him because he's kind of has a bad attitude towards a lot of things. All right, I can't read. All right, so now that's great. That those are your plans. It's amazing, I like to see other people out here with, along the same. I mean, pretty much trucking in general, everybody wants to have their own truck and all that kind of stuff anyway. But to keep it short, to answer your question, Central Oregon or W.E. Wiley, I think W.E. Wiley, I think that's the name of them. Honestly, they're both a part of the Dasky network of trucking companies, flatbed companies. Dasky has it's Hornady, Central Oregon, Wiley, Boyd. There's like a few other ones out there too, but there's a whole network of trucking companies. So I actually have a buddy who I went to TMC with, who is actually just got started with Wiley this year, doing step deck. He said he likes it so far. He has nothing to really complain too much about. He's driving a 20-something, 22, 21 Peterbilt, and he seems to be enjoying it. Now, I can't really talk too much about Wiley because I don't know much about them. I had my 5 months or 6 months at Central Oregon, so I can talk about them. Now, last week, me and this guy I'm actually talking about that went to Wiley, him, and another guy, we all went to TMC and became pretty good friends. We did a podcast not necessarily a podcast, but we did like a video, almost a 2-hour long video, discussing all of this. But my audio wasn't recording, so it was pointless to have recorded it since my audio wasn't recording. I thought my audio was going to be picking up through the software that we use. But anyway, to answer your question, in my opinion, if you have flatbed experience, so you say you did 8 to 9 months with Melton, and I've heard good stuff about Melton. I don't think they have a lease program, or you probably would have stayed there, or you didn't like them, or whatever the case may be. But in my opinion, if you have flatbed experience with any other company, in my opinion, Central Oregon is not the company that you want to go to. Okay, and I don't want to. Sorry, this pollen has been killing me here lately. Now, I'm not saying this to rag on Central Oregon or anything. Like, technically, I'm still a part of the company because I'm with Hornady. Hornady and them merged together, so it's pretty much the same company. So, in my opinion, you don't want to go to Central Oregon if you have flatbed experience, because they do stuff so different. The ropes that you use, you've probably seen in my old videos. I don't necessarily like the ropes. To me, they don't have the best equipment for a flatbed company. You're governed at 65, of course, which a lot of companies are. You know, me being an LP guy here at Hornady, I'm governed at 71, so that's a lot better. I can pass people. I can at least pass people now. But if your buddy from Melton, or the guy you know from Melton, went to Central Oregon and he had a lot of bad things to say, chances are the things that he said are true. I mean, there's 2 guys here on YouTube that are at Central Oregon, and they pretty much, they're not talking about the life working at Central Oregon. They're just talking about the life being a flatbedder in general. Me personally, I didn't 100% enjoy my time at Central Oregon. That's why I was ready to go ahead and jump into this lease. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to, be disrespectful to the company or anything like that. Just in my opinion, since I already had flatbed experience TMC is a really good company to get experience from, especially. I made a little bit more money at Central Oregon, but just having to run all those miles all the time, and in my opinion, cent per mile guys get cheated out of money. In my opinion, like, you lose. There's a lot of money being left on the table if you're running cent per mile. That's why, because they pay you $100 extra to tarp, regardless on what they're getting paid to tarp, because they already know that they're already making more money by paying you cent per mile. So why not just go ahead and give you $100 to tarp? Make it seem like you're making a lot of money, but in reality, percentage guys are going to come out better, especially running the loads that they run, especially from coast to coast. Because I ran a load from Oregon to from Oregon to Connecticut, and that was 2,000 something miles. However many miles that is. Let's see. Let me pull out my calculator. Let's just say that was 2,800 miles times 0.64, which is 64 cents. That's $1,700 for that one load, which would seem good, but they probably ran that load for, just judging based on how rates are right now, they probably ran that load for maybe $5,500 or more, which, I mean, I've seen loads that low going coast to coast. So I would think they wouldn't get the load for less than $5,500. I would think they would have probably got that load for well over $6,000, $7,000. So that's just me, Hopefully I'm not too late answering this question. Like I said, I saw it and I saved it because I didn't want to answer it. And W. Wiley, in my opinion, will probably be a better company. Just because they're actually set up to be a flatbed company. And like I said, in my opinion, COTC is not really set up to be a flatbed company. You don't have a headache rack or anything like that to store stuff. I mean, some trailers have 2 double toolboxes, and the trailer I had 2 toolboxes on it, but the trailer I got had 1 toolbox, and I didn't. Yeah, it's hard to switch out equipment and everything like that. I didn't, I don't want to dive too much deeper into that, but that's just to answer your question. I'd say definitely. I mean, you can come over here to Hornady if you want to. I mean, I don't know how because it seems like Central Oregon is actually pulling recruits away from Hornady at this point and trying to get him to come there. Because one of my buddies, I actually sent him as put him in as a referral. And he got a call from Central Oregon, so I don't know what's going on with that. But in my opinion, even as a company driver, Hornady is a better company in my opinion. That's just me, because they're actually set up to run flatbed. So anyway, now that that's out the way, and like I said, guys, if you have questions, either comment down below and I'll answer them through a video if it needs to be in great detail, or you can hit me on Instagram at what is it, AJ Frazier 92, I think it's my Instagram. Or if it comes down to it, I might actually just create a whole nother email account and still answer questions through video if possible. So anyway, guys, to jump into the bulk of this video, the income. And if you watch that whole first part, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe button. I appreciate all you guys for being subbed here. I didn't expect it to grow to where it is right now. So I really appreciate that. Hit that bell notification too. Go ahead and do that right now, real quick. Just go ahead and do it. Come on. You ain't doing nothing else. Do it real quick. All right. So my first paycheck from Hornady as a lease purchase driver, and this was when my truck payment and everything came out. I got 2 free weeks. I'm sorry, I'm all snotty, just pollen. All right. So I got 2 free weeks before I got my first truck payment and all that stuff that came out. And I did 2 loads. I actually did 3 loads, but I delivered one a day late. So instead of dropping it off on a Monday, I dropped it off on a Tuesday. And you know how the pay period works. You should know by now if you've been following me. That works the same as Central Oregon's pay period. Every load delivered by Monday at midnight is going to be on your paycheck for that Friday coming. So I didn't deliver that load on time. Therefore, I only got 2 loads delivered on that week. I did $32.19 to the truck for that week, and all my weekly expenses came out of that check too. So my first check, and I'm gonna zoom in here. I don't want to give away too much information. Let's see, how can I do that? All right, so my very first check, and you see it right there, net pay. That's what was deposited into my account. That was after truck payment and all that came out, all that good stuff. $40.64. So yeah, I already know what they're saying. I told you there wasn't no money in leasing. They just scamming you. You just paying for that truck. You this, you that, whatever. And a lot of people probably would have saw that paycheck and been like, you know what? I'm going back to what I was doing. I'm going back to be a company driver. I'm doing this and that and whatever. I'm done. This is stupid. They were right. But see, I knew what was what. I knew that I had missed a load. Okay, I know that when my check probably would have been like maybe $700 or $800 maybe. I missing that load. But dropping that load off on that Tuesday, and then all the other loads that I got made for a better check. Now I'm going to show you. Now I was actually going to show you the week's check after this because it was a really nice check. But I'm going to show you the check that I just got this past Friday, and I want to be completely open and honest about it. I won't be doing this all the time. I won't be doing a complete breakdown of my settlements and everything every single time, because there is certain stuff that I can and can't show you just based on my contract and all that kind of stuff. Like I wouldn't show you the exact rates on what I'm getting, picking up at whatever location and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's go to the check that I just received. All right. And I'm going to give you the fuel. I'm going to give you all that I did this week. So I did, how many loads? I got it all written down over here somewhere. I did 4 loads. Oh God, sorry. I did 4 loads on this week. Okay. 4 loads. And actually, as a matter of fact, back to that $40 check, and I remember exactly when it was. It was Super Bowl weekend. It was Sunday. I left out late Sunday. That's why I didn't get that load delivered on Monday, because I took it to where did I take that load to? It was somewhere. It was like 8 hours away, and I didn't I didn't make it on time. Anyway, so 4 loads I did this week. This was the previous week here. I started out in Peoria, Illinois, and I took that to Georgetown, South Carolina, 960 miles. From Georgetown, I bounced over to Ladson, South Carolina, took that load to Columbia, Tennessee, 490 miles. I bounced, I was pretty much in, So I went up from Columbia, bounced over to Cumberland City, Tennessee, to Mableton, Georgia, 310 miles. Now, a lot of you may actually know that lane. That's a really popular TMC lane, Cumberland City to Mableton. Now, I will say that I didn't make much money. This was 310 miles. I didn't make much money off of this load, but this was a load that got me set up to deliver a nice load to Frederick, Maryland. So from Mableton, I went over, picked up, actually, this Mableton, the load I picked up in Atlanta was right around the corner from where I dropped off in Mableton. And a lot of you already know that Mableton, Georgia, that L&W supply there. It's a rough place, especially if you're new to flatbed or you just have never been there. It's rough because you have to pull in, you have to take your straps off and untarp, because a lot of the loads you get in Cumberland City are going to be preload. This is a drywall place. So this place it's a rough place, especially for a newbie. You have to pull in, pull your straps and pull your tarp, roll your tarps and all that while having to keep pulling up in the line. So you either get there first thing in the morning and be the first person. That way you can go ahead and pull your tarps before 7 o'clock before you can go in. Or you can get there at about around lunchtime when it's a little bit slower and you got time that you can just take your tarps off and not have to rush. Anyway, picked up in Atlanta right around the corner from when I dropped in Mableton. Took that to Frederick, Maryland, 648 miles. I went home that weekend, left out Sunday. So for the week, and I didn't include my bounce miles in that mileage, so I just added about 200 miles of deadhead miles. So I actually, from pickup to drop off, I did 2,408 miles, and I just added 200 miles of deadhead. 2,608 miles, 2,608 miles for the week, which not that bad. That's not, but I was bumping and grinding because a lot of them were next day deliveries. So with 2,608 miles, if I was a company driver making cent per mile, let's just say 64% per mile, and this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. You leave a lot of money on the table if you're making cent per mile. I would have made $16.69.12. So $1,669.12 if I was getting paid cent per mile just for the miles that I did. Now, if I was a company driver at a percentage, and I just go with TMC, for example, because I was at 32% at TMC, I would have made $2,715.93 at 32%. Okay? That's how much you're leaving on the table by being a cent per mile guy. Okay? And that's assuming you would have got the same loads that I got and everything like that this week. Because all of this was right there on the East Coast. So, for fuel, the first load of the week, I spent $647.49 in fuel. That's fuel and DEF. I just included it all. That was on February 20th. February 22nd, I spent $570.73 in fuel. February 23rd, I spent $319.02 in fuel. And on February 24th, I spent $280 in fuel, roughly, because I couldn't that was the first time I ever fueled at Petro. So I couldn't, on the Truck Smart app, you can't go back. At least I couldn't figure out how to go back and see the fuel that I bought. So that's all before the fuel discounts. So instead of going back through that again, I'm just going to give you my total. So for the whole week, I spent $1,817.24 in fuel. After discounts, I spent $1,460.33 in fuel. So about a good $400 difference there in fuel. So $1,800 is what I spent before discount. $1,400 is what I spent after discount. Okay. So for the week, I did $8,487.30 to the truck. Okay. That's the very top of the revenue to the truck. Times that by 67%, which is what I make off of the to the truck amount, 67%. Then after that, that's when all my deductions come out of that. So $8,487 to the truck. After my percentage comes out, that's $6,171.15. So after fuel comes out and whatever deductions I owe and all that kind of stuff, after all that comes out, then I'm left over with this check here. And I'm going to try to pull that up for you guys. After everything comes out, that is what I'm left with. $4,319.86. That's 1 week. That's everything out already. $4,319. Truck payments already out. All that stuff's out. Now, the only thing that isn't out is taxes. But this is what hit my bank account, $4,319.86. Okay. I take, and I'm like I said, I'm being completely honest with you guys. I take 25% out because I live in Georgia. We have state taxes. So I take 25% out, throw that into my business savings account. And I think that should leave me with like 32 or 34. I can't remember exactly what the math was on that. But that's it. That's it. So the people that are still out here saying there isn't any money in trucking, that like you're just paying for the truck. And I'm sure there's somebody here right now still saying, "Oh, well, he doesn't get all that money. He doesn't get all $4,300." But they're not. They didn't say that when I showed you the $40 check, because technically that was before taxes. That $40, that was before taxes. So no, technically I didn't keep all that either. But I mean, people do whatever you want with your taxes, because honestly, I'm not going to be paying 25%. That's just a safety net that I have to put in my business savings account for my taxes. I'm not paying 25%. No way. If anything, it'll be hopefully more like 12% federal and maybe like 2 or 3% state. Hopefully something around there. Then, because I mean, I'm right off as much stuff as I can. So, I've bought stuff already, and I use QuickBooks. But I'm gonna keep track of everything that way, and I'm gonna still hire somebody at the end of the year to do my taxes. Hopefully, it'll be simple as just going through my QuickBooks and looking at my transactions and all that, and seeing what can be written off, as far as taxes and stuff. But I mean, like, now, and I don't show anybody this to show that, oh, look at me, I'm making all this money out here. No, I'm not doing that. I want to encourage people to get out here and do it, because if I had listened to so many people that had told me this wasn't a good idea to get out here and lease, and like I say, before I get into that, my last week's check before this one, like if this, like to use it for an analogy, if you so you remember when most of us were younger and we'd be on the basketball court or something, and probably middle school, something like that. Nobody could dunk. Nobody could touch the rim. If this week's check, this $4,300 check, was me jumping up and grabbing the rim and hanging onto the rim, then my last week's check was me jumping up and slapping the net. If that makes any sense. That's probably stupid, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. My last week's check was probably, I'd say, $1,000 off from this one, if I'm being honest. $1,000 off from this. So it was like $3,400, $3,300. So that's consecutive 2 weeks, and this is me finally getting my feet planted and set and learning how to run, learning how I want to run, while still getting home and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so like so many people, especially at Central Oregon, because like I said in one of my last videos, I said that my main goal was to come to Central Oregon and then merge over or transfer over to Hornady and become part of the Lease Purchase program. So many people did not want me to do that. You know, they tried their best to talk me out of, doing it. Oh, the fuel prices and, the rates aren't the best, and the rates aren't the best. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense why they would even offer it. But if you're willing to get out here and hustle and grind, you can make money. There's still, like, this is the most money I've ever made anywhere. Like, this is what I used to make in a month when I used to work security and all that. I'd be lucky if I saw $4,000 in a month, let alone 1 week. Like I said, this is before taxes, but whatever. I'm just making my point. Like, if you're at home right now, okay, you're looking at this video, you're thinking, man, I want to get my CDL and blah, blah, blah. And I hate the people that call it CDLs. It's only one license. Don't call it a CDLs, all right? If you're sitting at home thinking about it, why are you, get your CDL, man. Do it. Or girl. Like, women are out here making money too. I don't understand why, like, oh, I got a family. I got a family too. Oh, my baby, he's 4 months old. He's 6 months old. Yeah, my baby was just born. Like, my youngest was just born. I was with TMC, obviously. And my baby was born. Our youngest was born. I had 1 week left in training, so I came home. I only did 3 weeks with my second trainer because my first trainer COVID and all that kind of stuff. I did 2 weeks with him. My second week with him, baby was born that weekend. Got home right after she was born, so I missed that one. But I got there probably like an hour after she was born. Got to enjoy. TMC actually took me off with my trainer because they didn't think I was coming back. But I made that sacrifice. And a lot of you may think I'm stupid, but I made that sacrifice to go ahead and get in my truck because we needed money, my wife wasn't working, and, it was counting on me to go ahead, get my CDL, get in my own truck, and start making money, And honestly, I don't regret it. Money isn't everything, but at the time we didn't have money. So it was really important that I went ahead and finished up with my trainer, because that $500 a week, it sounds good. I guess, but if you got bills and stuff like that, you need to go ahead and get in your own truck. But what pretty much got me into wanting to get my own truck and stuff was my trainer that I had. We talked about that the entire time I was with him too. But anyway, there's no excuse for you not to, if you're an able-bodied person, male, female, whatever, and there's nothing stopping you from getting out here and getting your CDL and running the road. You don't have to be OTR, but that's where you're gonna make the money at. But if you can do it, I say do it. Military or getting your CDL are two things that I think if you're in a bind and you need. I don't know how much military guys make at this point, but if you need money, and you got a clean background, just go ahead and get your CDL. I mean, I just don't. The money is easy, and once if you can learn easy, like I'm a quick learner myself, and it doesn't take a lot to learn how to drive the truck and learn how to secure a load and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if reefer guys or box van guys are making this kind of money, but the money is here. Okay, the money is here, and like I said, so many people tried to talk me out of it. Oh, I had a cousin, his uncle's nephews, brothers, sisters, baby boy got his CDL, and after 6 months he decided to go lease a truck or buy a truck, and then he went out of business in 2 days. It's ridiculous. Like, people that have never done it are the ones that have the most advice, and that's a lot of things in life. People that have never done it have the most to say about something when they don't even know. Oh, I heard that you just paying for the truck. You just paying for the truck. You know, it's a scam, and you just paying for the truck. Shut your mouth. That's ridiculous. And I'm sure there's some scammy stuff going on behind the scenes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blind to that, you know. I wouldn't even, you know, I would go as far as saying, because just like at TMC, you're not seeing the load for what they give it to you for. Well, I mean, let me explain that. You're not getting the load for what it is. My throat, it's all over the place. You're not getting the load for what TMC sees it. So if it's $2,000, you're gonna see it for $1,400. Basically, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't doubt I don't know if that's going on here or not. You know, because I feel like there should be a lot more transparency in the trucking world when it comes to rates. But, you know, they want to focus on self-driving trucks and stuff like that. They're trying to get us out of the trucks anyway, right? Which, in my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen. And I'll go on record right now saying it. I don't think that that's going to be a threat to drivers in the next 50 years. In my opinion, I could be completely wrong. I hope I'm not. I could be completely wrong, because this whole self-driving thing is just, in my opinion, is just not where it needs to be to put a fully automatic self-driving truck on the road. Because if you know anything about the Benedict system or whatever it's called, that system sucks. Okay. Especially in the rain. I mean, it's gotten better, but it's based on how we drive as drivers. That's what it's based on. It's going off of that. Like, we're teaching our replacement. That's what's going on. I don't know if it's an FMCSA rule that you have to have that system in the trucks. I don't know, but so many companies have already incorporated those into the trucks. And we're training our replacement every single day we're on the road. That system picks up on your reaction and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't want to go too far off that. That's for a whole nother video. There's still money to be made in trucking, guys. There is. And don't let, like, I talked to a guy the other day. He worked for Montgomery Transport. He said that he's been working there for 8 years. He said that he had planned on becoming a lease purchase guy after his first year. They actually asked him, did he want to do it? But he said he just never did it because he was scared to take that jump, basically, you know? And I enjoy every day being able to pick my own loads. I enjoy being able to pick where I want to go. I can control my fuel. I can control my miles. I can control all that stuff. Hornady really doesn't bother me. I mean, that it's not for everybody. No, it's not. It's not for everybody. A lot of guys love being comfy and cushy behind that company, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Me, I just enjoy the freedom of doing what I want to do. There's still money to be made out here. Don't let anybody tell you different. Now, will I get a check like this every single week? No. Will I get a $40 check every week? No. In my opinion, it is easy. And it is difficult at the same time. If you come into it thinking that you're just going to kill it, chances are you may fall flat early. You come in with a plan. And honestly, I think you should probably take a year as a company driver. You don't need to be a company driver for 4 years like most guys say. You could do a year, especially if you have no driving experience. Do a year with a good company that's going to run you. Do a year. Then decide if this is what you want to do and go ahead and get a lease or buy a truck if you can. But if you guys got any more questions, be sure to leave a comment. Hit me up on Instagram. You can send an email. Maybe I'll see it. Chances are low that I will see it. Just happen to be checking my email. But anyway, guys, comment, like, subscribe. Hit that bell notification. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.